Hello neighbor, this is Curt with eTrailer, and today we're going to take a look at the Thule WingBar Evo roof rack on our 2015 Mercedes-Benz GLK-350. We're just going to see how they interact and work together. Now, if you do decide to go with this roof rack, why don't you just go ahead and share what you think about it below in the comments. We'd love to share your experience with other neighbors in order to help them make the best decision possible. Now, a roof rack is an excellent way to carry some of that extra cargo that you either can't fit or don't want in the vehicle. Maybe you've got a whole bunch of passengers in here and you got a long trip. Everybody needs to put their stuff somewhere. I like the roof cargo box option in those cases, much more than a hitch accessory. It leaves a smaller footprint on the vehicle, especially when trying to park and things like that. But this roof rack here is going to be able to accept clamp mounted or T-track accessories, and you can access the T-track right through the end cap by flipping it over there and just sliding them down to wherever you need them to be. We're going to get a 165-pound weight capacity out of these. However, I do encourage you to double check the owner's manual of your vehicle and make sure of what that roof capacity is for the vehicle. Whichever is lower, that's as much as you can carry. It is an arrow style bar, meaning it's wider in the front and narrower in the back, like a blade back here. And what that's really going to do is reduce wind resistance, which is going to reduce noise while you're on the road. And it's really going to reduce a lot of that drag. And in some cases, people even say it may help with some gas mileage. Now, we're going to be up here and we're going to take a few measurements just to see where we're at with everything. I had mentioned, the placement of the bar, not to interfere with anything. But let's go ahead and see what kind of crossbar spread we get out of these. So what I'm measuring from is the center of one T-slot to the center of the next, which gives us a crossbar spread of about 28.5 inches. And that for me is kind of perfect. Most rooftop accessories require 26 to 32 inches of bar spread. So this puts us almost right in the middle of that, which means that most accessories are going to fit on here exactly as they are. However, with a raised rail system like this, if I do get a rooftop accessory that requires more than that 28 or 28.5 inch spread, I do have the ability of loosening these towers up and moving them forward and back as needed. But the other things we're going to take a look at is what kind of height this is going to add to the vehicle. And these crossbars are going to add about 4 3/4 inches to the roof height of your vehicle. And if we're going to measure, how far off of the roof they come, we got just a little over 3.5 inches of clearance underneath the bars. Now, the other thing that we want to take a look at is the overhang. It can be a concern of some people that they might be worried about hitting their head on this. I'm about the right height on this car that could happen. However, I'm not all that worried about it. This is going to have an overhang here of about just a hair over 5 inches, maybe 5 1/4 inches. Now, that does come outside of the door threshold here for the head. However, down here by the feet, it's more like out here. So anytime I'm stepping in and out of this vehicle, I'm going to be coming out more this way. I'm really not concerned about hitting my head on this at all. But really, we've got this set up in a way that's almost perfect for the vehicle. This vehicle has a moonroof in the front row and the second row. So the way that we got these bars set up is so that we could interfere with that as little as possible while maintaining a good crossbar spread. The other thing about these is installation is actually rather very simple. So why don't you follow us and we'll go ahead and show you how we got these up here. Now, we've gone ahead and got our rear bar installed already, but to show you exactly how we did that, we've got our 2 towers here. We've got these little rubber pads for fitting, our torquing tool, the caps for our towers, and I've got a flathead screwdriver. Now, you don't need this for the actual installation of everything. This is mainly the tool you're going to need. It is still going to come in handy in a moment, and I'll show you where. So the first thing we want to do is take our bar and we're going to turn it on its back. When we turn it on its back, we're going to see these slots right here on either side, and this is where we're going to attach our towers. First thing we'll need to do is remove our end caps. So we'll push down that tab and work that off of there. And we're going to go ahead and take it off of the other end as well. Now we're going to take our tower here and we'll notice that we've got these T-slots that are molded onto it, and then this kind of separate one here that also creates a bit of a T-slot too. Now we're going to put these on with this facing the outside. So I'm just going to use this to guide through those T-slots there all the way to the end, and once I do that, I'm going to put my cap back on. And I'm going to repeat the process right over here. And put that on. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is take these kind of rubber caps. They're going to go right here, and you can see the T shape that it's going to go on. And all I'm going to do is slide those on and into place. And now I've got a full round rubber grip that's going to be able to grip our rails and hold on to them. I'm going to do the same with that right over here. And once that's all done, we're ready to put our bars up. Okay. Now, as we're putting these up, it's important to remember that the blade end is going to face the rear of the vehicle and the wider end is going to face the front. So we're just going to put this up on the roof, being careful. If you've got a friend to help you, make sure you're not banging into anything on the other side. That's good. But otherwise, I'm just going to slip this on over the rail here, and I'm going to go over on the other side and do the same thing. Now, before I tighten anything down, I want to leave it a little bit adjustable, both with the bar here and the ability to move this forward and back as I need to. Now, bar placement can be kind of an important thing. As far as the rear bar goes, I've got that moved as far forward as possible up against this kind of center support on the rails. This is a good placement for it, I think. It's not too far back on the vehicle, and it is, however, far back enough to not cover up this second row moonroof that's here. There's a first row moonroof as well, so if we want to have as little interference with that as possible, I'm going to try to set this up to where it basically is going to line up the center of it with this door seam. That's going to be almost directly above the driver's head, so unless they're driving looking straight up in the air, it's really not going to mess with that moonroof. So, but once I do that, have it in place, I do want to take a measurement, and it doesn't have, it could be just between the bars, center of the bar to center, whatever it is, it just has to be consistent on both sides. I want that measurement on the driver's side to be the same as it is on the passenger side. And the reason for that is we want to make sure that these bars end up perfectly parallel and perpendicular to the rails themselves. Now that my crossbar spread is perfectly aligned, the next thing I want to take a look at is my overhang. So I'm going to take a measurement both on the driver and the passenger side and get that so that it's the same number each way. Now that we've got our crossbar spread and our overhang even, we could go ahead and take our Thule torquing tool and start tightening down right through here. Now this is going to simultaneously have the feet, or the towers rather, grabbing the rail and keeping our bar stationary. And what I want to do is, I might turn it 5 or 6 times on this side and then go over to the other side and tighten down about the same and go back and forth a little bit until we get to the point where it's ready for our torquing tool to clip. Now we've gone back and forth, gotten everything tightened down. Now what I want to do is keep tightening until I hear a pop, because again, this is a torquing tool. There we go. Once you hear that, you know that everything is on here just the way it's meant to be. We're not getting any shifting forward and back or side to side on the bars, so our bars are all set. Next thing all we have to do is place our end caps here on our towers. Now we're going to take our tower cap here and we're just going to slip the tab up underneath, press it down in place. We're going to use our flathead to turn it and lock it there. Now, as far as this lock goes, out of the box, these are what you get. These little plastic locks that you can use with a screwdriver. However, that does kind of leave it exposed for anybody who really wants these to come along and be able to take them. Thule has what's called their one-key system, which means you can purchase separately lock cores for each of your towers and have them keyed alike to other Thule accessories that you own. But for now, since we're doing just a non-permanent install on these, we're just going to go ahead and get that locked down, and that makes our installation complete. Now we're ready to load up on our bars, whatever we need for that adventure we're about to take. So there you have it. Easy install, pretty easy to use and access everything that you need. I think this would be an excellent choice for you and your GLK 350. I'm Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.